Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's your baby girl Gloria. Today I've got a guest on the channel who is going to be telling us about Australia, because she was in Australia and she left, which is, most of us want to go to Australia. So I was wondering, why did she leave? And I don't know any of her story. I want it to be fresh. I'm just hearing it for the first time. I'm going to introduce Mercy. She'll be introducing herself to you. She's also got a YouTube channel, and you know how we do it. You have to go to her channel to please support her. Can we meet you, please?
Hi guys, how are you? My name is Marcy and it's very nice to be on this channel with Gloria. Yeah, so I am an Australian-based nurse, rather Kenyan Australian-based nurse. I am happy to answer all your questions, to interact with you, and yeah, it shall be fun.
So what do you do on your YouTube channel, please? So just so people can know what
Okay,
to
so
expect.
my YouTube channel is basically to inspire and to share information, especially for people who want to immigrate to Australia. My focus was mainly for Kenyans because I felt like when I first began my process, there was not so many videos or any information or anyone to give me a heads up. So that's why I started my channel. But there's a little bit of lifestyle, my everyday to day life, and then I share, things that you might find inspiring in your day to day life as well.
That's
So if
good.
you like
Okay.
such content, subscribe and follow
Yes,
me on
please.
Instagram as well.
Oh, okay. So please, I'll be leaving the link to Mercy's channel, and her channel name is Gifted Mercy, right? So I'll be
Yeah.
leaving the link to her channel in the description box. So please just go check and even ask her all the Australia question you want to ask her. She'll be able to answer you. She was nursing in Australia. So can you please tell us when you moved to Australia and how long you were there for? Because I understand that you're back to Kenya. And can you tell me when you went to Australia, please?
Okay, so I moved to Australia in 2015. Brings me to about, so 2015, we are 2022, that's about 7 years. I recently just came back. Main reason is I felt like I wanted to be home first. I have two little ones, and nursing them and looking at my after my kids while I was in Australia was a bit of a challenge because we don't have help. You know how it is when you are abroad, you're running
Yeah.
around like a mad person. I feel like, yeah, madness in that aspect. And then I also felt like when I was doing my planning, I wanted to retire at 30, and during which I would start my family. So I achieved my goal. I went to Australia, I studied, I worked, I was 30, I resigned all my jobs. I had my baby at 30, my 31st birthday. And then it was just a matter of now transitioning and coming back home. One thing I did make sure I did is get my citizenship plus those of my kids. So that way we can easily go back and forth between Kenya and then Australia. So that's why I came back to enjoy more life
Wow.
and have more freedom.
That's interesting. You retired at 30.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I retired, I resigned all my jobs, and I hope everyone, if you're watching this video, retirement does not mean you don't work. It just means you work for yourself, you have more flexibility, you're not rostered, you can enjoy more free time, and you can work whenever or do whatever you want without having to feel like you're obligated.
Wow. That's good. I like that. And the fact
Thank
that
you.
you got your citizenship, it's good. You had a dream and you went for it, and it worked for you. You see,
Yeah,
that's very
yeah,
good. I actually admire your courage, because so many of us, apart from the fact that I would say Nigeria particularly is not as safe right now, it's not every one of us that enjoy living abroad, because life abroad is different. At the end of the day, it's not your
yeah,
home. So you're being
yeah,
able to go back after you've achieved all your dream is
yeah.
actually applaudable, and I say congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm glad
so
I can
are
inspire
you
some.
just, I know this is not part of the main questions, but does it mean you have your own business back home that you're comfortable with, and how is it working for you?
Okay, so Mind you, I didn't mention that I had already nursed for about 4 to 5 years before I left my home country. So
Okay.
about now, maybe say 10 years plus of experience in nursing.
Okay. Okay.
My goal, as I said, is to work. Okay, first I wanted to study. Then after my study, I get work and then save and invest enough to give me passive income. So even if I don't go to work or I don't have a business, then I still have adequate, resources to fund my day-to-day life. So I did that. I worked, I bought a house in Australia, which is one of my streams for my income. And then I also partnered with a very good guy. So my husband, Rogers. Hi, if you watch this video, I know he's going to. He's very supportive. So between the two of us, we have been able to come up with investments or businesses that can give us passive income. We are not where we want to be yet. Mind you, we are very young. Like this is going to be my 35th birthday. So I feel we have a long way to go. But yeah, business is what I do most of the time. Right now is consultancy as a healthcare provider. And yeah, I team up with companies, maybe education. I only do that which is working for me and my family because right now my focus is my family. I have two under 5 years old and I'm not going to compromise anything to enjoy that mama time.
Wow, that's interesting. Well done. That's good. Like good, good.
Thank
I really like it. That's very like that's actually encouraging. I need to start thinking outside the box as well.
thank you. Thank you. I'm
All
glad.
right, that's interesting. So
Yeah.
you went to Australia. Did you go as a nurse and did you do it just in summary by yourself or was there an agent involved? How was it for you?
Good question. So, how my journey began is very simple. I did my basic nursing, which was a certificate in nursing in Kenya, and then I upgraded to a diploma while still in Kenya. See, the thing is, when I did my diploma, I wanted to study a master's in midwifery, which I found out was not locally available for me. It sparked the interest for me to start research to see where else can I study this coursework that I loved so much because I'd been working at the maternity department for like 4 years prior and I loved it. I loved the mother to child field. So that's when I started applications. I sent one to Canada, to the UK, US, and then to Australia. I tried those pathways all by myself. I did not have any agents. I felt like I didn't even have enough funds to pay an agency. I didn't know some of them can actually do the service for free because they are
Free.
paid by the
Okay.
university, which is something I came to find out later. But you know how it is in Africa, they always take advantage. They don't tell you
Yes.
that they charge you, right?
Yes, that's true.
Well, so I did go to a cyber cafe, applied for a school, narrowed down, and finally ended up to apply in Australia because it was more affordable for me, and then it didn't have so many requirements. So I came in as an overseas trained nurse, and the
Okay.
coursework that I applied for is a Bachelor's of Science Nursing for 1 year. So
Okay.
that's how I ended up in Australia. And everyone has to study some form of study if you come to Australia as a nurse or even prior, so that you can
Okay.
get your license to practice there as a registered nurse.
Wow. Okay, right. Okay then. Um so how is life generally in Australia when it comes to how did you find it?
Okay,
Just generally.
general life. Yeah. So how did I find life in Australia? Before marriage, um, it was enjoyable. It was good. I'd say it's very practical. It's very livable. It's very welcoming. Like there's nearly zero rates of racism. I'm not saying there is not any form of racism because that's everywhere in the world,
Yes.
especially if you're new in a place, and it depends with how you interpret whatever you receive from other people. I went there with a very focused mind. I gave myself 5 years. So I was focused on working. At one point in life, I had, especially the first year of my grading, I had 4 jobs because I needed to make enough money to pay for my own school fees. I wasn't sponsored. I didn't have a sponsorship, neither from home nor from Australia. So I was an international fee paying student. and it's expensive. They pay 3 times the local school fees that Australian pay. So normally, my time, the local student will pay 3,000 Australian dollars for one semester, but we have to pay 3 times, which is between 12 to 18,000, depending on the university you go per semester. And I did 2 semesters. So I needed so many jobs, first to pay the school fees, pay for my bills, and then I was so much into sponsoring my brothers. I wanted them to join me, which they did after 1 year. So I was happy for that. There's a lot. So generally, life is good. Yeah, if you go young, because I was 26 years when I left my country.
Okay.
If you go young and don't get into a family life immediately, then you are able to maneuver very well in that system. And if you go a bit older and you have a family, you can probably just have one job or max of two, and that is overstretching because you have family life, which is another full-time job, if you ask me.
Yes.
That's just my approach. But I love the life in Australia. Wow. Yeah, it's adventurous. It's cosmopolitan. Like most of the cities, you don't find that you're the only dark skin. So you're not the minority and you're also not the majority. So it's good. So, and then there's a lot of Asians and other, immigrants from the UK, US, and that makes it easier for an immigrant to settle in because everyone is new. So you cannot be nasty to the other person anyway.
Yes.
And all of you don't even know the system. So you're trying to all fit it.
Wow. That's nice. Yeah. See, Australia is actually one country I've never even considered going because they're like, it's too far. It's too far. And that's the only thing. I don't have anything about Australia. I'm just like, it's just too far. What if I want to come home? Or I just feel like it's too far. That's the only thing I know about Australia.
Yeah, it's too far, and then there's little known about it. Like, it's not a very popular nation, continent. You see, Australia is actually a country and a continent because one of the states where I lived is actually the size of my own country, and there's 7 of those.
Wow.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I only went there because I found out that the easiest to go there was as a student, and it's easier for you to actually blend in. There's a lot of work there. There's better remuneration, if you ask me. And if you're only focused on family, and you just do one job, you can actually just enjoy life. Basically, you don't have. I don't feel like, from what I've heard about the US and the UK, there's only 2 countries that would give you quality of life abroad life. That's either Canada or Australia.
Or Australia. That's true. That's true.
And some of the medical people have actually migrated from the UK, the famous UK, US, and then they come to Australia or they go to Canada. So that's even, gives you more evidence. And even Indians. Oh, there's lots of Indians. Most of the doctors and nurses are Indians.
That's very true. I agree with you totally. And you've almost mentioned the next question I was going to ask, which was about racism, because that is one very important topic that, although people don't like to talk about it, but it is something we have to address. You see, a country like the UK, racism is subtle, is quoted. You're not going to know. It's not like to your face. Especially in Scotland. I'm in Scotland. It's very hidden. They do it with style. Like at the end of the day, you're even asking yourself, are they racist against me? Or am I being racist minded? So you've almost said there's almost no racism in Australia.
Yes, almost. But doesn't mean that it's not there. It's also very subtle. Like even the people that are racist are quiet about it. We have some that are a bit loud. And then there's this aspect that like the local Australians, they're dark. If you know about the Aboriginals or you have research about them, they're like us. Their skin color. It's actually sometimes difficult to differentiate an African and an Aboriginal. The only difference is the hair. It's very silky,
Softer.
Yeah, and some at one time in my practice, I've had patients who are like, "She's not going to touch me. She's dirty," Like that monkey is not going to treat me. But as I said, it depends with how you receive it. My personality is like, oh, you don't want me to treat you? Fine and thank you. And Australian, the system is so good. You don't force your way around people. It's not a must I serve you. So I only went to my supervisor and say, hey, patient so and so does not like me. This is the word that they use. I prefer if you can swap me with another person that they're comfortable with, which they would do. And don't take matters to your heart. After all, it's almost like one less thing to do, you know.
I'm with you on that. That's true. If you don't want me, bye.
Bye bye. See you around.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. I know Australia. I used to hear, or we used to hear that Australia pay better. Australia, because the UK nurses' salary in the UK is appalling.
Really?
Not I know people at home feel like, why are you
It's a
complaining?
lot.
Don't complain. Come back if it's too bad. Then come back. Why are you still there? That's what they used to say. But at the
I
end of the day, at the end of the day, I will still complain because in life we cannot get enough.
Yes.
A US nurse can pay my salary conveniently as a
Wow.
UK nurse. I work in dialysis. I'm a specialized nurse, but my salary is appalling.
Mm-hmm.
We used to hear that Australia pay better. Australia, as if it's almost the best country just because it's too far. That's why all of us were not there already.
Yeah, yeah. It's not just because it's far, and it's not only good because it's cosmopolitan. It's also good because it's easy to get a citizenship. In other countries, you have to stay like I don't know how many years. Once you get your permanent residency in Australia, you only wait for 4 years and you have your citizenship. And they don't just pick on you because you are from this country. And so it's very inclusive. And I love that about Australia. The pay, I would say, was good. And as I said, there's lots of job opportunities. And even a disability support worker who is an equivalent of a carer or an assistant in nursing earns above like $25 per hour. So, yeah, so you can see that it's someone who didn't even have to study 7 years like we did in school. At one point, I think I've had an opportunity of earning $90 to $100 per hour because I'm also a specialist nurse, you see. So if you like ICU nurses, they earn more than that. They can make $2,000 in like one night because when you work night shift, you're paid double. I know. That's why so many people migrate. So they have this system whereby if you work during the day, morning to like from 7 to 2 p.m., you get basic pay rates. And when I say basic, it depends with your work experience and your study level. And then when you work in the afternoon, you get like $2 or $3 above the person working in the morning because you're sacrificing what they call family time, which is in the afternoon, because it's Australians are very family oriented, by the way. And then if you work night shift, you get 15% loading on top of the basic salary, which like morning person was earning $30, so probably get 45 or more because you also sacrifice your sleep and your family time. And when you work the weekends, you get double because during the weekends people are hanging out with your family, but you're working. See? So that makes you end up earning more money. So people can capitalize on night shifts, and Australians don't work at night shifts. They do, but they don't like it. So you find that as immigrants, then take that as an advantage. Because mind you, these people are local, so that is their home. They want to bond with your families and whatever. But we don't even have family. Where are you going over the weekend? You don't have kids. So you end up being at your work. That means you're earning double the amount that person would have earned, and then you can save much. The economy is, I know you're going to ask me about that later on.
Tax, yeah.
But if I tell you about the economy, it's equally as expensive as the rest of the world. But again, it's easier because you're earning as much money, you see. So it's not the same as if you earn $50 and then you have to spend like all of your $50. So see the way I explained that you can earn $50 for your basic salary and that is your expenditure, but then you can make double over the weekend. That means you don't have the problem of money anymore. I hope it makes sense.
Yes, makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense. Wow. Yeah. So how is the tax? Okay, I'll just quickly say, just like the UK, for instance, if you're in a care home as a registered nurse, you can earn between 60, I don't know what that is in dollars right now, but within 16 to 20 pounds an hour. 20 pounds is actually a very, very good price. So that would be about maybe $25, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I'm in the NHS. If you're in the NHS, your starting salary is 13.5 40 something pounds per hour as a registered nurse.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think also it
Before
depends on
tax.
the value of the pound, well, in your country when it comes to the economy, because that is, I don't even know of any nurses earning less than $20 in Australia, even the newly graduate ones, the graduate nurses.
That's sad.
Yeah, and when you have more years of experience, and then there is this policy when, like, every year they have to increase your salary at a certain level. So, like, if you started at $20, say that's the minimum for a carer, every year they get $1 or so increment. And that means if you work in that company for 5 years, you'll find people who have been there for 10 years actually earn more than the new graduate nurses, because then they are at $30 and you started at $25.
Wow.
Well, I am mind blown as well when it comes to the UK system paying nurses.
Yes. So how is it tax?
Yeah.
Because for us, if you're any less than 50,000 a year, sorry, you get 25% deduction. That's the 25% tax before your pension, before your national insurance, before every other thing. So how is tax? Are you able to say something about tax in the
Tax? Yeah. The minimum wage, you can pay, that you don't have to pay. If you earn less than $25, you don't pay any tax. And then when you're between 50s and 80, you get the average 30%. And then we have a system that allows you to pay for things before tax. So it's not always after tax that's when you get your money. Like, we have there's a package they call salary packaging service, whereby I used to be able to pay for my rent before my salary is taxed. So I would sign a document that allows my employer to pay directly money, and they allow you $16,000 every year. So imagine what you can do with 16,000 tax-free. You can buy a car. They would allow you to buy a car. You can buy a home, or you can pay for your bills like school and rent. So say you're making 80 or 50, you minus 16 if you package with that salary packaging service. And then now you're left with like 70 something, and then they only take like 30%. And that is usually less for your first job, because most people have one job or two. So your second job is taxed full, and then the other one is taxed less.
Wow.
Question: do you guys get tax refund if you had like been paid more, and you get allowances at the end of the year?
Yeah, we get tax refund. Like the last tax refund I got about 200 and something pounds.
200? At one point, I think I got 5,000 or 13,000 when I was a student. But it depends on how much you worked, though, and then how much you declared as tax before. But you see how they allow you, they give you money back for your uniform, for your fuel, for your calls, for your Wi-Fi, anything that is related to your work, training, they'll give it back to you. And usually it's like 3,000 if you know how to go about it. Your tax agent is going to make sure you get maximum returns.
Wow.
Yeah, so they give you like 2,000 for your fuel on to work. If you do two jobs, you count the mileage between the one job and the other one, and they make it up to 2,000. So you can claim like 15, and they won't even ask you for evidence or something. So you're good.
That's very good. So how expensive is rent? For instance, I'm in a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah.
Tiny rooms, like where I am, this is one of the rooms, and it's just an office. I can put my hand and I'm touching the next wall. One of the rooms, or the other ones are double this size, maybe a bit bigger. I'm paying £660 a month.
Wow. £660, that's a lot. Yeah, so one of the things that you will find out about Australia, if you read or check the website or whatever, is Australians are big houses population. Like they don't have a lot of flats, like houses going up, apartments. They have own compounds. Like my house sits on 300 square meters of land. That's my own 3-bedroom house. I don't have like to worry about space on. You can make your rooms as big as you want, and even when I rent it out, currently we are looking at $450 to $500. Yeah, so 600 you'd be having a 5-bedroom house that is so massive. 600 is a lot of money. That's 600 Australian dollars. So I'm not talking about pounds, but we are comparing countries. So that's what I would say.
See, the more you talk, the more you keep me wondering how you can live such.
Come on, go. I am not pimping. I'm not pimping Australia. I wish we had more videos or more Australian vloggers for guys to see
You should be
how it
doing
is.
that. That is what you should be doing. Like, talk about
Yeah.
these things.
Yeah, and also, see, when I'm going for my vacation one of these times, I can invite you and come and see the real things on the ground. I'll show you around, show you the
Really?
houses. Yeah, you'll be very surprised.
I'm blown away. Actually, I've just, I think it's even better than the US that we all want to go. I'm blown away.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I'm surprised too. And I feel like I know I'm not the only person who has come back to my country. Like I know like 5 others, my friends who came back. It's one of the things that is very unpopular for abroad people to go back to their home country. So
Yes.
I feel that tells you a lot about Australia, that you actually get more value and you get more comfortable to the point of you're like, you know
You
what?
can
I know
afford.
what you can do. Yeah, so it's a land of opportunities. Once you utilize the opportunities well, it makes you self-reliant, you're independent, you can, and then there's the freedom of movement that you can go there and be there and still be a citizen, and there's no limitations.
Wow.
So I like that. Yeah.
That's really nice. Like, I'm already rethinking now.
Yeah, I mean, go for it. There's a lot of UK nurses and doctors there. I'm very honest when I talk about that. In my 7 years of work, in my field, it was either guys from the UK, the US, or Asians, or the Indians. Or is Indians, are they Asians?
They're
Well,
everywhere.
forgive
Yeah, they're
me.
Asians. They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Yeah,
They're
I
everywhere.
love them. They're actually very competent in their jobs. They might
Yeah.
not speak very good English as we do, but those guys are competent.
They are
They are
good.
professional.
Yes, and they're
Yeah.
hardworking. That's true.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, I don't want to, because I have too many questions now, but because of time, we cannot talk about everything.
Yeah, we can always do another video.
We can either do another video, or people should come to your channel to come and get the value.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
even me,
and they
I'm
can ask me
actually,
questions.
yes.
Mhm.
Go to her channel, please. Ask her all the questions you can ask her. Subscribe to her channel. Watch her videos, and she'll be giving you more value. I know it's hard because she's busy and all, but you see, when she gives you video, look at what I've learned from this video. You're going to get value that I may not be able to give you because I've never ever been to Australia. So you want to follow her. Go and subscribe to her YouTube channel. And you know the code. Tell her Gloria sent to you. What's your
Thank
last
you.
word? No, it's
Yeah,
okay. But thanks for
welcome.
coming.
Thank you. And I'm going to do the same things, guys. If you're watching me because you're thinking Gifted Mercy has value, I'm going to do a collabo video very soon with Gloria, and then we're going to listen to her side of the story as well. You
Yes.
never all green everywhere. So we might
Yes.
all want to migrate to the UK. Who knows?
All
That
right.
money
Good
does
luck.
not mean there's no value.
Good luck. Because we nurses, we're actually going on strike. We are trying to go on strike because of the pay. Like, it's appalling.
Wow.
There are no staff. Like, my unit has about 6 vacancies for months. We are working short. There's the payment is the inflation is gone up. It's just messed up.
Wow.
So
I've never heard of a strike in Australia.
we are
The only
trying to
thing I
go on
have strike
strike.
is in Africa. What is the nurse to patient ratio in the UK?
So because I'm not in the ward, I may not be able to say. Some will say maybe normally it should be 1:4. I may be wrong, but like even yesterday, someone was telling me at work that sometimes they can have 1:10.
Yeah,
Because it's
healthcare
that bad.
nursing is very taxing. I did that once for like a year or two, and you're the nurse in charge, and then there's only like 2 nurses and then carers. Is that the same in the UK?
Yeah, but because I was in a care home before, I was in a care home, but then I moved to the NHS. In the care home, you can have 2 nurses and maybe 8 carers for the whole nursing home. But in the NHS, you have maybe 4 or 5 nurses, depend on the unit, because I've not worked in the main. I'm a dialysis nurse, so I work in dialysis, outpatient.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's different. You see, we just dialyze
Mhm.
them and they go home. You understand?
Okay.
So it's a bit different. For
Interesting.
my experience
Yeah.
is a bit different. Any final
Well
word?
done. Yeah. Well done. Well done on your specialty. I love dialysis. I think it's very
Really? Oh,
tasking. I wouldn't do it though. I'm sorry.
really?
Like how we all have different callings. I feel like that is very technical when I compare it to gynecology and maternity, which
Really?
is and mental health, which is what I love most.
Really? Wow, well done. Any final word of advice or anything you want to say generally for everybody before we go?
Oh, okay. That's usually a very tough question, but I always say this all the time, especially for African immigrants. Please go when you're young and try to delay having a family, because where we're coming from, we most of our Africans, when we migrate, we are not very wealthy and we have home struggles and stuff. For you to be able to focus on building yourself financially, socially, emotionally, like holistically, give yourself about 5 years whereby it's just you
Hmm.
as a young person. You're studying, you're saving money, you're making money, you're investing, so that you can be able to enjoy the fruits of your immigration much more than as opposed to you're struggling to juggle between, family life, personal life, student life. It's a
Hmm.
lot of plates to balance, and obviously one is going to give way because you don't want to focus more on yourself and then you lose your family, or you focus
Hmm.
more on your family and then you feel
And lose
left
your
out
job.
in your career. So it's
Hmm.
usually that thing. People say there's no formula, but I feel like there's a pathway that makes life more easy and comfortable. And that is first self-development
Hmm.
and actualization. And then now you can start including other people, which is your family, whether it's, the immediate or the extended
Hmm.
in your life cycle. That makes life more enjoyable. And if you're already in the life, family system and you still want to go to study, there's no limits. Just go, just prepare yourself for the hardships that you have to encounter, and make sure you have a very supportive partner, or make sure you
Partner.
discuss all the logistics. Because look
Hmm.
at this. If you migrate to go and study as a nurse in Australia, it means your husband is going to be a full-time stay-at-home dad. Okay.
Oh, he
Our
can't work.
African men, our African men, unless you get married to a Caucasian or a white person, trust me, you're going to have trouble. African men are not cultured to be stay at home
So they
because
can't
there's
work.
no house. And then you don't have enough money to take them to daycare and childcare. It means that one of you has to stay home. Your husband
Okay.
will cook, wash clothes, look after your kids. And these African men are not up for that task, most of them. So that's why I say, male or female, focus on yourself first, because even if you're male, if you're married to someone who's going to school full time, that means you take the role that you're not comfortable in. See,
Ah.
it's not a matter of whether you're a woman or a man. Everyone needs to actualize and be self-independent. You come into a family life when you're financially stable, you enjoy more the fruits of being together than when you're trying to all, navigate what finances, and you're leaving your kids all the time at the daycare because you have to go chase money. So that's
Hmm.
what I feel like I always advise for the young people. And yeah, that's my break off
Wow.
message.
That's true. I totally understand and I agree with you. Thank you so much for this. Like we've said, we're going to do her own video as well. So you see, you don't want to miss on either of the channel. And please remember to subscribe to this channel and to Mercy's channel as well. I'll put the link in the description box. Thank you, Mercy, for coming. I know we've been trying to do this for a while, but because of the time difference,
Yeah,
it's been a bit hard, but yes, we did it.
we made it. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for being patient with me,
No, it's
obviously, and
fine.
also making the sacrifice, guys. You have the best, YouTuber right here. She tried her best, to fit it into my schedule because I'm like, what, how many hours? 10. I don't know, behind. Or what time is it
So
at
it's
your end?
about past 7 now, or something between 8. I don't know.
Yeah, but we started at 6 o'clock and it's 11 a.m. at my time. So this is
Wow.
my comfort time and yours was a bit of a stretch. So thank you. Bye for now.
Yes.
I feel like we're going to interact more and have fun.
Yes.
Keep
Thank you
safe.
so much for coming. Thank you, everyone. Please, I'll see you in my next video. Until then, bye.